Today's yoga class is about, which I suppose every yoga class is, it's about exploring inwards and really expanding outwards. And when I woke up this morning, you know, there's this little quiet moment between sleeping and really being awake. This little moment where we've not yet stepped into, oh, this is who I am, and this is what I do, and this is my name, and this is what I like, and this is what I don't like. There's a gap between sleeping and being the person that we've learned to be, where there's space, where we just are, right? And in that moment, I often have lots of ideas and I write them down. So the word that came up this morning, it's yoga for courage. Courage, the French word cœur, being in the heart. And I thought being courageous is so many things. Healing is being courageous. Showing up is being courageous. Looking at whatever is hurting inside or is difficult for us is courageous. So let's make this a yoga class for courage. So I invite you to sit comfortably on your sit bones, crossing your legs, or however you would like to sit actually. Even if you're sitting on a chair, or see what works for you, make it your own. Find a position that allows your spine to be really long and open. And when I sit down, what I usually do, I gently circle my spine, as if I draw circles with the crown of my head into ceiling, or I hinge forwards and back, initiated by the pelvis, and that allows your spine to just find its natural alignment, just finding its length. And then close your eyes, rest your hands where they intuitively want to rest. And then see if you maybe can shift your hands towards your knees, just opening up a little more. So being courageous, what helps us step into that is having our heart space open and actually claiming space and taking space and embracing the space that surrounds us into our being. And then closing your eyes and check and see if you can bring your spine to be a little longer. Check in, notice, could I sit a little taller? Okay, you go, please. You can sit a little higher. Closing your eyes and become curious. Curious to all that is part of this moment. Curious towards your breath entering your body and leaving your body. Curious towards the sounds around you, those close by, and how about we become curious towards sounds that are a bit further away. See if you could maybe hear the city, or maybe you can hear the ocean. Maybe you can hear the mountain, or all of it together. And coming back to breath, noticing the quality of our breath. Watching it flow in and out, watching the depth and size and quality of your breath. There's no judgment, there's no wrong or right. And if there is an idea of this moment needing to be any different than it is, notice that too. Notice that thought without rejecting it, without contracting around it. So what we're doing here is we expand, we soften into the spaciousness that we already are. An image I often use is the sky. We're softening back and reminding ourselves of the sky-like being that we are, the infinite, vast, timeless blue sky, where all thoughts and all emotions and all sounds and all sensations and the taste and the scent and sights, it all appears within that sky. And it comes and goes, it comes and fades. we tend to distinguish between the world outside and the world within. There's the I, and then there's the world. Allow this meditation, this practice today, to be an opportunity to remember that those two worlds are not separate. We experience the world through our senses. There is no world out there separate from the world within. It's all one. So witness and notice your thoughts like you would sounds outside your house. Unattached. No need to push or pull, just notice and witness. Deep sense of openness. Through that openness, see if something emerges as an intention for today's practice. A theme for you. And then with your hands on your knees, turning palms down, hugging your knees, feeling your knees. Feel the temperature of your palms on your knees. Just gently hinge forwards and back on your sit bones. Start very small, just feeling yourself roll onto front sit bones and roll onto back sit bones. And also rolling from left sit bone to right sit bone. And notice how you might habitually have more weight in one side than the other. So we're finding out, we're noticing, oh, I tend to be on the left side or the right side. Or I usually sit on the back sit bones. So notice that. It's all in the pelvis, so it's a deep movement in the hip joints. And then we'll make this forwards, backwards movement a little bigger. Initiated by the pelvis, we hinge onto front sit bones, almost rolling pelvic floor and pubic bone onto mat. Gently dropping knees into mat and opening heart as you come forwards with a big deep inhale, and just let it flow. Notice your mind might say, oh, this is weird, I feel awkward. And just notice that too, as you notice sounds outside. And so moving forwards, and as you move back, you round the space between your shoulder blades, sliding the shoulder blades apart, lifting navel up and into heart. So those two want to get together, heart and navel. Navel center is our strength, our personal power. Heart is our guidance. When those two come together, we step into our courageous aspect. And so with your breath, flow forwards and back. Front sit bones and back sit bones. Round and arch your spine. Round and arch your spine. And feel your shoulder blades slide around. Finding movement, not just into hip joints, but into shoulders as well. And then the next time we come forwards, we fold a little further and we fold over our crossed legs. In your own perfect way, wherever you land, whether your forehead lands on mat or not important. If you want to shift side to side, you can even do that. Feel your pelvis tilt forwards, releasing forwards. To come up, we lift our gaze and then our heart reaching up. We open our arms out to the sides, turn your palms up and drop your hands down as if the backs of your hands rest on space. And then imagine you could make your thumbs touch behind you. Reaching and lifting your sternum forwards and up. So it's an opening into the upper back. Strong in your navel center. You're on the tips of your sit bones and you lift and lengthen. Feel your shoulder blades slide down. Make your thumbs touch. Not really, but lengthen. And then from here, on your next inhale, you reach your arms up. We'll bring them forwards. We'll interlock our hands the unfamiliar way, so swapping fingers. Other index finger on the opening. Feel, and then turn your palms outwards. Drop your outer shoulders, drop your elbows. Chest, collarbones, super, super wide, and then reaching it up, lengthening it up. Now notice how the shoulders might be coming up. Slide your shoulder blades down, open your heart. Maybe look up. Lift your chin. If you do lift your chin, make sure it lifts your heart width. And stay here for another, let's say maybe 10 breaths. Something like that. Reaching. Become so tall, so long that your sit bones almost lift off the mat. Your shoulder blades slide down. Your chest open, relax your thighs. Notice if you're holding tension in your hip flexors. And continue to lean your arms back. Gently softening the lower ribs down to navel. Opening into heart. Let's do another big deep inhale. Big deep exhale. Looking forwards, release your hands, bring them out to the sides. And then bring them around. Fingertips land behind you on your mat. And just supporting yourself, lift your knees, lift your feet. Bring your knees together, bring your big toes together, and then lift your toes, spread them out wide. Roll your shoulder blades down, lift your heart. Maybe the toes can lift a little higher. See where you're feeling it, notice. Cross your legs the unfamiliar way. Roll your shoulders back, lean into fingertips and lift your heart up. So you're leaning into fingertips and you're rising through sternum. Open wide. And from here we come to center. We grab the opposite elbows. We roll our shoulders down. Again, shoulder blades sliding down, chest wide and open. And then we fold forwards from here. Drop your knees into mat, allowing our spine to fold and soften. Meandering your awareness through body, notice where am I holding tension? Can I soften and relax? To come up, we bring our chin to chest and round ourselves up to sit. Roll our shoulders back, release our elbows, bring our hands down, fingers pointing same direction as the toes. Bring your feet flat, hip wide apart, knees pointing out. Spread your fingers wider than you ever have. And then just lift your hips to hover and circle around your wrists. So gently preparing hands to carry weight. So stretching into wrists and be explorative here. So notice where might I feel tight? Can I spread my fingers a little more? Can I ground into the fleshy bit between thumbs and index fingers? What does this movement feel like in my shoulders? Where am I contracting rather than opening? And you might want to stay here. Maybe the hips lift up. Pointing tailbone away. Opening hip flexors. Have a look at your navel. Drop it into spine and lift a little higher. And if your head wants to drop backwards, it may, but keep your neck long. We're just warming up. And then gently shift left and right. Right hand, left hand. Balance yourself out. Chin comes back to chest. Lowering down. Maybe there's space between your hands as you lift onto heels. You shift your hips back to hover between your hands. Can we do that? Coming forward, lift your hips up. Open up wide, especially into heart. Courageous, wide torso. Let's try that again. Dropping hips. Keep them hovering. Lift your navel. Beautiful. And come to sit, all of us. We'll move our sit bones a little closer to heels. The feet nice and wide, the knees nice and wide, the arms nice and wide. And then from here, we point our tailbone down and away, and we roll ourselves down onto mat. And pause just before the shoulder blades come onto mat. Stay there and see if you can lift your pelvis as well, really rounding lower back into mat. And breathe. Every exhale, your navel, breathe us into spine. Maybe lift and lower the chest a bit. We want to activate and switch on our core. Knees pointing outwards so the hip flexors are not involved. And then roll yourself all the way up. And your hands may be on thighs or on knees. You might need support. Roll yourself back down. Lower back on the mat. Keep it on the mat as you roll all the way down. Keep lower back. As you reach your arms up and over, stretch and reach. Spread your fingers. Inhale here, exhale, coming forwards. Hands come together. And imagine your favorite person in the world maybe helping you, guiding you, reaching. And one more time, rolling down onto mat. Keep your lower back on the mat, really conscious in this movement. Arms up and over, reach and stretch. And then coming forwards again. Peel your spine off the mat, coming up. Open your arms and lift your knees. Bring your feet and knees together. Wrap your arms around your legs. Hug them in. Hug them in, squeeze them. Maybe a kiss on each knee. Slide your shoulder blades down, open your heart. And if you can, you lift the legs. If they want to stay here, just flex and point your feet. Watch how they move. Or flex and point them here. Find lightness. If this is also easy for you, maybe the arms come up as you flex and point your feet. Lift your heart. Notice how tempting it is to round. Lift your heart. Lift, lift, lift. One more big deep inhale. And then we cross our legs. Fold forwards. Dropping through the pelvis into the open legs. Chin to chest, rolling ourselves up to sit. Grabbing the knees, opening the feet a little wider than hip wide. Toes pointing out to the sides. Fingertips onto mat, hop onto feet. Come into squat, elbows to inner knees. And then use your elbows, your upper arms to open your knees wide. For some of us, the heels will be off the mat or on a block or on a cushion. See what works for you. Now, how long can you make your front torso? From pubic bone to sternum, really opening up, as if you were arching your lower back, lifting tall, reaching tall. Now, bring your fingertips together and the palms apart. This is our mudra of focus today. And then ground into heels and lift up. Keep your knees apart, lift up. Keep your knees pushing apart. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Feet flat, lift your arms up. Point your tailbone down and forwards and see if you can lean back slightly. Lean your heart back. Slide your shoulder blades down. Looking up, center. And open knees wide. Come back down. Come back down. Come back down. And sit. Very good. One more time. Keep your knees as wide as they can be. Ground your feet. Lift up, lift up, lift up. Squeeze. Coming up. Squeeze your tailbone down and forwards. Lean it back. Beautiful. How far can you go? Long spine, center. Lowering down, knees apart, sitting down. Let's do one more. Lifting up, relax your shoulders, strong navel, knees apart. Lifting up, beautiful. Tailbone forwards, heart back, going a little deeper into back bend. Coming to center, lower back down. Fingertips come onto mat in front of you, just lightly touching. And now from here, the hips lift up. The hips lift as we sway from left foot to right foot and back. Feel your back legs open up. Now on our next inhalation, we'll lift our chest and look forwards. Maybe the hands come onto inner knees. Point your knees outwards, lift your heart, arch your back. So we're not rounding, we're arching the back. We lift the sit bone. And inhale here, toes still pointing outwards, legs wide. As we exhale, we fold forwards again. Shifting weight towards the front of the feet. Lifting sit bones high. Inhale again, lift your gaze. Lift your heart and exhale to fold deeper. Coming back into squat. Elbows to inner knees, hands together, hands to heart. Fingertips back down onto mat, lift your hips up, and we'll heel toe our feet to be hip wide and outside edges parallel. We'll slide our hands over feet, onto shins, onto thighs. Elbows hug into hips, you press your thighs back and you lift your heart forward. Deep inhalations, deep exhalations. Arching lower back, bring your body into this 90-degree shape. Lifting heart. Another inhale here. Soften as you fold. Soften your spine, soften your arms, probably your knees. Check your feet hip wide. Lift your toes, spread them out wide. And then roll yourself up to stand. Pointing tailbone forwards, rolling through spine. And as you come up, you roll your shoulders back a few times. Open wide. Lengthen out. Come to the back of your mat if you're not there already. Spread your toes out wide, check your feet. Not because there's one particular way to have our feet. We do this to be conscious of our feet alignment, to learn about our default movement patterns. As we inhale, we lift our arms up. We grab the space above us and we wear it like a crown. So we grow our crown into it. We soften shoulders down. And then knees still straight, shift your hips back. Just the hips back, lift your sit bones. And then bend your knees coming into Utkatasana. Step your feet together, big toes touch, heels touch, hands come together, down to heart. And then we twist to the right, left elbow over outer right knee, or if that's too much, maybe the hand. See what works for you. Twisting, opening, open your arms wide, whatever that means for you. Open arms, spread your fingers, reach your hands away from one another. And bring your hands together, back to heart. Lifting arms up, Utkatasana. Hands come back to heart, hands to sternum, twisting the other way. Elbow onto knee, twisting chest, maybe opening the arms. Expanding. And coming back to center. Reaching hands forwards, Utkatasana. Inhale here, exhale, folding it forwards, lifting sit bone. Open into the back legs, bend your knees, look forwards, walk your hands to front of mat, find your plank. Check your hands, spread your fingers, shoulders above hands or hands slightly in front of shoulders. Long lines through your body. Point your tailbone down, lift your navel up and in, lift your heart, open it wide. And stay here. Now feel which parts of your hands are grounding into mat. Which areas of your hands are grounding? Lift your navel up and in, looking forward. Which parts of your back and shoulders are contracting? Stay with it. Breathe into it. Let's take another big deep inhale and exhale it back into down dog. Reach your hips back and away. Feel the beauty of that opening into back legs. Take a moment to look at feet. How do the ankles move? Maybe they twist. Maybe they move in alignment as you lift one heel at a time. And then take your gaze forwards to hands. Watch and feel your hands push forwards as your sit bones rise up high. Navel lifts up to heart, heart to navel. Reach, soften into armpits, into collarbones. Lengthening. Let's lift our right leg up. Drop our left heel into mat. Lift your right heel up high. And then lift your left heel high. Bend your left knee. Slide your right knee forward as you come into plank. Lift your knee up. Lift your heel up. Broaden your shoulder blades. Soften your neck. Slide your shoulder blades apart. Lift your navel a little higher and reach right foot back and away. Flexing right foot, right heel lifts high, left heel drops. And let's open the right leg. So point your right pinky toe to ceiling. Keep your leg extended, toes pointing to the side. Keep your chest level. Drop your left heel low, but keep your toes pointing forwards. Keep alignment. Knees pointing away from one another. Level out your hips again. And then bring your knee into chest. Open your shoulder blades wide, reach and lengthen, and exhale your leg back and away. Inhale here, and exhale your foot back down onto mat. Changing sides, left leg lifts, reaching up, hips level, foot flexes, right heel drops, left heel lifts. How far can you go? Looking at hands, how far can they reach? How open can you become in your heart and your front body? Coming forwards, knee to chest, shoulders above hands, round, point your tailbone down. Open your back body, breathe into navel. Breathe yourself deep into center, and then reaching it back. Leg reaches back, opening up. Open the hip, point your left pinky toe up to ceiling. Check your shoulders, they stay level. Right pinky toe stays grounded, knees opening apart. Lift left leg a little higher. And step it down. Bring your knees onto mat, knees together, big toes touch, sitting into child's pose. Rest your forehead onto mat. And then make your hands into these creepy crawly spiders as you walk your hands forwards. Your palms are off the mat. Roll your outer shoulders downwards. Walk your hands forward. Feel a long stretch from sit bone all the way into fingertips. And then release your palms back down onto mat.
Another big deep inhale, exhale to soften into earth, and then roll yourself up to sit on heels. From our heels, we come back onto hands and knees. Bring your knees and feet hip wide apart. On our next inhale, we'll lift our heart forward. Slide your shoulder blades down, widen collarbones, lift your sit bones, lift your chin, open your throat. And exhale to round, opening back body, tailbone points forwards. Shoulder blades slide apart, lots of space around the lower back ribs. And inhale to arch. And flow with your own breath, rounding and arching. Softening and breathing into whatever area of your spine might need a bit of attention, might need a bit of an opening, a bit of awareness. Sometimes I hold tension under my right shoulder blade, and so then I move into that. Or around the left neck, and then I do what I need to do to move into that. So there's no wrong or right, no good or bad. It's an exploration, deep sense of curiosity. And really a celebration of what our bodies can do. A celebration of this moment of being alive in this body. Find your neutral spine. Then tuck your toes under. And lift your knees, lift your hips. Open your chest. Walk your hands to feet. Checking our feet, they're hip wide. Pinky toe sides parallel. Sliding hands up onto thighs. Tucking elbows into hips, lift your heart forwards, press your thighs back, reach and lengthen into heart. And exhale, sliding hands down, maybe bending knees, just forward fold. Shift your weight forwards and back. Ground your feet evenly and roll yourself up to stand. Roll your shoulders back and away. Now, as you come to stand, simply stay where you're at. Deeply grounding into left foot, lift your right knee up. Then we rise our arms up into one-legged mountain pose. Connect within you with what is the mountain. Slide your shoulder blades down. Feel the crown of your head be like the top of the mountain. Reach and lengthen. Beautiful. Distribute your weight evenly in your left foot. Just notice what this is like. We'll twist towards the right, towards the bent knee, and our left hand is going to come to outer knee. We use it as a lever and we twist. Right hand reaches back. So your hips are level with the front of your mat, and you gently twist and open. Follow your right hand with your gaze. Soften your shoulder blades down, and can you really shine your heart up and away? And then coming back to center, reaching arms up, still balancing on our left foot. Can we do that? Can we bring our right hand past the inner knee to foot, and then place the foot on our inner thigh, or maybe the shin. See what works for you. Maybe we need fingers against the wall, that's fine. Open hip and knee away from one another. Widen. Slide your shoulder blades down. Heart spacious and open, arms out to the sides, turn your palms up. Slide your shoulders down and make your thumbs touch behind you. Keep softening your lower ribs inwards, lifting your navel upwards. Beautiful. Maybe staying here or maybe bringing arms up above the head. Grab your crown, put it on, crown yourself. And then maybe if you want to take it further, the bent knee side, the arm comes down to inner knee. I quite like using this hand as a lever as I move into a side bend. So you can open the knee a little further. A strong external rotation through your left hip. You can even have your left hand on your hip if that works better. Or left arm up and over. And sometimes we fall over in life. And just come back, one step at a time, moving back into it, opening a little further. Relax your shoulder blades down, open heart wide. Beautiful. And we come up to center, reaching arms up high, lifting the knee. Very good. And now we point our toes, bring our arms out to the sides,
And find this warrior 3 shape. Bring your hands in line with hips. Palms facing down, palms facing forwards. Dropping outer right hip, lifting leg, lifting heart. One more deep inhale for more space. And then coming up, arms up, knee up, and stepping it down. Before we move on to the other side, we'll sit through Utkatasana. Into our forward fold. Let your spine soften in your forward fold. Strive through sit bones. And bend your knees, inhale, gaze forwards. Find your plank. So find your plank on your mat. Lengthen out from your plank, either through chaturanga or maybe just the knees down, pointing toes, building it slowly, squeezing the glutes, lifting the navel, opening the heart. Beautiful. Grounding into index finger base, hug your elbows into chest, moving straight into down dog or over hands and knees into down dog. Lengthen in down dog, look forwards, notice where your default gaze is. Do you stay at your feet by default or down at the mat? Or maybe forwards? Play around with that. Notice these little subtle layers. And then walk your hands to feet. We'll roll ourselves up to stand. Stack yourself up, soft and strong at the same time. Rolling up and the shoulders come back. Open yourself up wide. And maybe doing that again. Maybe even opening palms and fingers back. Like all of life is sort of here. We want to open it up. And then from here, grounding through feet, left leg lifts, left knee lifts. With a sense of lightness, lifting it up. Just keeping it here for now, rising arms up. Feel yourself lift into crown and soften into your periphery. Really connecting into right foot. And not feeling heavy, but lengthening, lifting. Keep lifting out of your right leg. And then the right hand comes over towards the bent knee. We use that knee as a lever as we open the left arm back and maybe follow it with our gaze. Now check, when things are challenging, the shoulders tend to come up first. Slide them down. Open your heart. Reach and lengthen. Build the pose from your center. Softening through the periphery, the stronger you are in your center. We slowly come back up to center. Reaching arms up high, lift the knee a little higher. Little higher. Little higher. Left hand past the inner knee. Grabs the foot. Footsteps to inner thigh. And maybe using the right hand, reminding the right hip to stay open. Reminding the left knee to open. Arms out to the sides, palms face up. Courageous heart. Chest open. Slide your shoulder blades down. Thumbs want to touch behind you as you maybe lift your gaze and lift your sternum. Point your tailbone down. Lift your navel, pelvis upright. Explore. And coming up, arms above your head. Maybe left hand drops to inner knee as we move over to the side. Maybe you want to use your hands to really open your body out wide. You can grab your lower ribs and twist them open. Feel your hips shift over towards the side. Feel your foot pressing into thigh. And then maybe the arm comes up and over again. Yes, beautiful. Breathe your side body long. Breathe your heart open. Slide your shoulder blades down. And coming back to center. Swaying a bit in the wind. Lift your knee. Open arms to the sides. Hands facing down. Rest your hands on space. Remember, we're including the space. We're not separate. Rest them onto space. Point your left toes. And reach it out to the sides. Fill the space you're in. You might literally be filling your space. But if not, see if you can reach so far that your fingertips actually do touch the walls. The crown actually does touch the wall. Reach a little further. Let's lift it up one more time. Knee lifting up high and footsteps down. Inhale here to lengthen. Exhale, sitting through Utkatasana. Feel your sit bones poke back, folding from the pelvis, releasing forward. Inhale, lifting gaze, lifting chest,
halfway with a sense of curiosity. For some of us by now the fingers are on the mat because we've warmed up. Maybe they still need to come up. Inhale here. Exhale, folding deeply. Crown of your head wants to rest on your toes. Heels super light. And then looking forwards, find your plank. Lengthen into plank, maybe straight into down dog, or through your cobra, through your up dog. If chaturanga is part of your practice, go there. Otherwise, rolling over toes, onto knees, sliding shoulder blades down, maybe lifting the knees, pressing the tops of your feet into mat, elbows hug in, heart wide and open. And slowly coming back into down dog, reaching it back, opening into back legs. Well done. We look forward. We find our left foot. No, let's lift our left leg up. Lifting it up. And then as we move into plank, we draw the knee to heart. Yes. And we lift the knee up. We point the toes. We lift the foot up. Round your back. Round your lower back. Round your upper back. And then step your foot to land between hands. Right knee comes onto mat. Right toes point back. Beautiful. Fingertips in line with heels. Fingertips light. Gently sway left and right. Just move your hips a little. Bring your hands onto knee and lift yourself up. Lifting up, high and tall. So ribs and pelvis connected. Lots of space in lower back. Opening arms out to the side. Slide your shoulder blades down. And then bring your hands down to opposite elbow. Okay, slide your shoulder blades down and back. Your heart courageously wide and open. And see if you can take that, shift your hips a little further forward. Keep pointing tailbone down. Keep pressing your lower back into arms. Arms into lower back. Front shoulders open wide. So if you want to stay here, you stay. Otherwise, keeping that core connection as you release your elbows and rise your arms up. Hands shoulder wide. Holding the space above your head. Drawing it down towards you and sinking into your hips. Into your hip flexors. Keep tucking back pelvis down. Lifting pubic bone and front hips up. And go a little deeper. Good. In your own perfect range of movement. We bring our left hand onto knee, our right hand onto earth. We maybe lift our right toes up. Just see if that works for you. Gently swaying. Notice if you can sink deeper into hips. If you need to bring the foot back down, you do so. And maybe lifting left arm up and back. Big, wide opening in the chest. Sometimes the hand can find the foot, but it doesn't have to. Slide your shoulder blades down, lift your heart. Courageous heart, let it shine. And breathe. Every inhale, continue to expand. With every exhale, you soften. You soften. We release the foot. Bring it down onto mat, reach the arm up. Hand comes forwards to outer heel. And then see if we can straighten out our front leg. Can we keep our left chest on our left thigh? Or just sort of towards that? Have that intention coming forwards again. Sinking hips, lifting heart. Shifting back again. Lifting hips, dropping heart. Longest line you can create through your spine. One more time. Inhale, moving forwards. Settling here. And moving back. Sit bones rise. We come forwards. We tuck our back toes under. We lift our back knee up. We ground our right hand into mat and we lift again into left hand. This time the shoulders stack, the hands stack, the fingers spread wide. Imagine your top hand was a star shining bright. And then see if you can sink your hips. Open the hips a little more. Point your tailbone towards front heel. Lift your right knee up high and open. Another big deep inhale. Left hand comes down onto mat. And then the left foot reaches back into three-legged downward facing dog. Might be hard to lift it now. See, feel. And leg down, well done. We lift our right leg up. We slowly flow forwards into plank and bring our right knee into chest. Lifting knee, lifting foot as high as we can. Pointing tailbone down. Slide your shoulder blades apart. Lift into spine. Breathe here. Heart and navel together. Stepping foot to land between hands. Dropping left knee down onto mat. Pointing left toes back. Fingertips lightly touching the mat alongside the heels. Gently shift and sway from side to side. Soften the hip flexors, soften the hip joints. Hands onto knee, lifting up. And take a moment here. Have the intention of tailbone pointing to heel. So your core and your glutes are keeping your pelvis upright. And soften a little deeper into it. Arms out to the sides. Soften shoulders, lifting heart. Bring our hands around, grab the opposite elbow. Draw them close. If elbows are too far, just grab the wrists. Slide your shoulders down, lift your heart, and then see if you can sink a little deeper into hips. Still pressing back pelvis down, lifting front pelvis up. Maybe this is enough. Maybe you release the hands and rise them up. Grab the space above your head. Wear it like a crown. Feel your shoulders drop. Sink a little deeper. Still strong through navel, strong through glutes. And our hands, right hand comes onto knee, left hand onto mat alongside the left heel. Maybe this is enough and this is where you stay. If you want to play, see if you can lift the foot. Good. If you want to take it further, maybe you can open the arm. Have the intention of pointing tailbone to front heel. Maybe the hand grabs the foot. And you might notice that that foot is way further away than the other. Notice. Be curious. No judgment. So easy to go, oh, I want to, I wish I could. But embrace it. All that is alive within you right now. Let the foot go, reach the arm up. Bring the hand to outer right foot. Left foot onto mat. We slowly shift it back. We open the right leg as much as we can. Maybe toes to face. And flow forwards and back in your own pace, in your own way. Hips aligning towards the front of your mat. Making space into right leg. Noticing differences. Noticing thoughts that arise in response to certain sensations. So emotions are nothing else than stories that we weave around sensations. So when something's uncomfortable, our mind tends to want to push it away and it finds a reason to not go there. So knee above heel, fingertips become light. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee. Now left hand's flat back onto mat, right arm rises up. Shoulders stack, arms stack. And if you want to take it further, you sink your hips. You drop your hips, keep lifting back knee and open heart wide. So there's a strong lift from pubic bone into navel, into sternum, while the left knee keeps lifting. Right hand comes down, hands become feet, right foot back into three-legged downward facing dog, lifting leg up high. A little higher, little more. And lift down. Have your big toes touch. And then open your knees as wide as the mat, maybe wider. Point your toes back, knees onto mat. Settle your sit bones to heels. Walk your hands into the space between your knees. Lift your heart, open your chest, and then maintain this openness, this spaciousness as you reach forward into child's pose. Let your torso drop into the space between your knees. And then notice, are your knees drawing inwards? Can you release them outwards? Maybe the forehead is on the mat, or the chest, the heart, the chin. Use your breath to melt your sternum onto mat, into mat. With every inhalation, feel your body expand. With every exhale, feel it soften into earth. Notice where you're holding on. Notice maybe in a hip joint, in a hip flexor holding tension. And then soften there. Soften with intent. Feel how your heart, how your sternum melts to mat. Feel how unknown spaces open up as we take time and become still. Another big deep inhale, another big deep exhale. And then we walk our hands in and lift ourselves back up onto sit bones. Lift your heart up high. Bring your hands in line with heels, and then bring your knees together. Bring your ankles together, sit onto heels. Now, hands come in line with knees, or just slightly in front, shoulder wide apart, spread your fingers wide. And then the crown of your head comes onto mat, and we're creating a triangle between the wrists and the crown. So with your crown on the mat, look at hands, see your elbows right above your wrists. So align it, slide your shoulders away from ears, notice the difference, bring shoulders up to ears and slide them away. Keep that spaciousness as you tuck your toes and lift your knees. And this might be enough, or you might stay in child's pose. Have a look at your feet, lift and lower the heels. Notice what it feels like to move your hips to stack above your shoulders. If you need to adjust your hands, check. Just make sure they don't come in line with head. Then you don't have a balancing point anymore. Maybe you bring your knees onto elbows. And with curiosity, watch your feet lift up. And maybe you tuck your navel in so much that the knees come into chest. Keep your elbows closed, your forearms parallel. And you'll find your legs slowly lifting up to sky. You find your spine slowly stacking. And maybe it is one leg that lifts. Keep your elbows closed. That gives you that strength, that core strength. And notice any sort of thought that might arise. Notice with curiosity. Let's find our way back down into child's pose. And again, notice with curiosity what your mind might be saying. It might be celebrating. It might be saying, oh, I should have, I could have. Notice how all of that is part of the stories we tell ourselves. All of that is part of our, what we call our identity, our persona. Watch these stories with curiosity. Roll yourself up to sit on heels. And notice how some of these stories are really helpful and others are really not. Walk your hands forwards, come into plank. Beautiful. From plank, find your way into cobra or up dog. And I invite you to find your own way. Playful. Explore. Finding cobra or up dog. Lifting heart. Tucking elbows in, lifting heart wide. Press the fleshy bit between index finger base and thumb into mat. Squeeze your glutes. Extend your tailbone. Navel and heart are dancing. Inhale here and find your way back into down dog. Notice your feet land hip wide. Outside edges parallel, looking forward. Watch your hands walk to feet. Watch your hands slide up your feet, up your shins, up your kneecaps onto thighs. Inhale for a lot of length. And exhale for the most beautiful, soft, gentle forward fold. Everything hanging, sit bones striving. And then grounding to rise, we bend our knees and roll ourselves up to stand. Shoulders roll back. Coming up as a new person each time we do. Drop your hands alongside your hips. Spread your fingers wide. Close your eyes. And notice, again, shift your weight into from one foot to the other and forwards and back. Notice if there's a difference, feeling mat underneath your feet. Lift all toes up, spread them out, bring them back down. Hug your tailbone with your glutes. Lift your navel through your abs. Feel your shoulders soften down. Notice they don't need to be held up. They can just soften. Neck spacious, crown spacious. Opening eyes again, reaching arms to the sides and up, lifting arms up above. Shifting the sit bones back, poking them back, and then bend the knees, find Utkatasana. From Utkatasana, folding forward, soften forward. Looking forward, lift your gaze, lift your heart, arch your back, lift your sit bones, and then walk your hands to front mat, finding plank. Maybe that moves into down dog or through your up dog or cobra. See what works for you. We meet in down dog